Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I am your host, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the sleeveless wonder, the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
What's poppin'?
Delaying the show by 30 minutes with his ridiculous games. I don't know.
I wasn't the reason why the show was 30 minutes late.
You're right. It's my fault. Also joining us is the writing wonder, Stephanie Klimov.
It's me, Stephanie. Oh, that wasn't as cool as I thought.
It's probably better than Chris Pratt doing it.
Exactly. Yes.
Gosh. Maybe that should be a topic tonight. In the fourth chair tonight, the man, the myth, the legend, still saying Shane Kelley.
Hello.
Hi, Shane.
Hope everyone's having a small Wednesday. I know I am.
It's been an extra long Wednesday for me. It's fine. Apparently that's my new catchphrase now, by the way. In our host chat. It's fine. Stephanie needs a shirt on it. A shirt that says it's
Shirts
fine.
will be coming soon. Yep, it's fine.
Right. It's fine.
Big bold letters just covering the shirt. So, anyways, how's everyone doing? Everyone good? Everybody having a good week?
I'm surviving.
Yeah,
I'm worked out.
Good choice of word, yes.
These last 2 days of work has just been like, oh. And then I had some unnecessary drama happen to me this morning as I was walking out of the business meeting.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like, should I call the cops now? Or should I call the cops, or do I just like go home and immediately take like a Silkwood shower and like just wash it all off of me?
Oh shit! It was that serious, huh?
Oh
Damn.
yeah. Basically, somebody else's privacy's got violated, in front of me, and then I was like, I don't know if I was supposed to be privy to this, so I don't know how I should feel about it right now.
Sounds like a great day.
Yeah. And I still had to work.
See, what LeRon is actually drinking is bourbon to wipe all those memories away.
Yeah. He stirred it with his own tears, actually.
Corey, you know me so well, man.
I know.
Oh,
I know. We've known each other for a while now. It's time. It's fine. You did tell me to slide into your DMs today, so I mean,
and of course that got some interesting comments around it.
Of course it did, because it's you and me.
Hey! All I said is to get to me a little bit quicker. Just throw it in the DMs. That's all. I said.
And then a couple comments were made, and then I was just like, I feel like we're not talking about PlayStation anymore.
Or are you?
A different kind of PlayStation.
That's actually what LeRon calls his bed, is a PlayStation. His boyfriend comes over. PlayStation.
Yeah, I just make sure. I always tell him, make sure you bring your Xbox.
Oh God. Tower of power. That's what he calls it.
Hey! You gave me the power to run after dark. So I mean,
I did. Oh, I'm not gonna run it. I'm not interesting.
I mean, I could be saying random stuff like there's nothing floppy about my disc.
That's fine. Of course, you're going to get a whole generation that listens to that and not even know what a floppy disk is. So
that's the beauty of it. They're going to be like, what? They're going to be like, what did he say? What?
Don't worry, it's a dirty old man joke.
It's fine.
Oh, see, now why'd you have to bring out old? Why'd you have to bring up old? Because guess what? Like,
at least you didn't say it was a 3.5-inch floppy.
Why'd you have to mention old though? Because I actually went out a couple of weekends ago and bought my first pair of reading glasses. Why'd you have to say that?
Because before we started the show, you're like, "Oh no, I forgot to take my meds."
Oh my God.
Which I still haven't.
Hey, you set yourself up for failure there.
It reminds me when I worked at Staples and the guy asked me what a typewriter was. How old are you?
Are you even supposed to be here right now?
Resident Evil 4. Come on.
It's like the Jumanji meme. What year is this?
Wait. Is Resident Evil 4 the litmus test for how old somebody is now?
Is
it? Maybe.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, LeRon, the Wii, the PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 are all considered retro consoles now because they're over 10 years old.
What? That's considered retro?
Yeah, apparently.
No, I don't accept this.
I don't like the idea that retro and vintage is like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
My car's almost vintage if you count it by that.
So when I was 11, I was retro.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Okay, we can't use Resident Evil 4 as a litmus test for how old somebody is because it's only 16 years old.
And it comes out on everything that comes out ever. It's probably gonna be on your phone soon. So.
Okay, Mario teaches typing.
It's classic.
Typing of the dead. When did that come out?
That came
out in
Bacon.
99. That came out in 99.
Mavis Bacon.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Mavis Beacon or whatever, and then also Oregon Trail, like the original Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
And green. Yes, I remember that.
The black and green screen, and it's just like, God, it's so ugly.
You died of dysentery. Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Dysentery.
Third time today.
It's always dysentery.
It's always dysentery.
And then there was that like shooting mini game where you had to like shoot the animals for food.
Yep.
But it was just like a cursor over the screen, and you always missed, and then you died of starvation.
It's funny because when I was a child, that took up so much of my attention and time, and I thought it was like such a great game. When you can look for games like that now, just online, right? Like I type in original Oregon Trail, and I'll just play it to revisit my nostalgia. That game is a lot shorter and a lot shittier looking than I remember as a child. So it's just interesting perspectives of. I didn't get the same experience this time around.
Did you know that there's actually like a handheld version of Oregon Trail now?
Yeah.
It's just like its own little machine, just like it's like a
a
Game Boy.
Wait. Didn't they? I thought they made like a Game Boy or a 3DS game of that. Did they do that?
I mean, they probably did. I'm sure it's like around. You know.
Listen, they made an Oregon Trail card game. Okay.
It's true.
Well, I know a movie's coming.
Is
what?
It?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hold on.
You know what? HBO should have made an Oregon Trail TV show, and it would have just been like Game of Thrones, but like traveling west
with a lot more shit.
Yeah.
Someone dies every day of dysentery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is this show? What are we doing?
I don't know. I think it's on point for what we're supposed to be doing now.
I know it is. You're right. I'm not gonna lie. We got some really good feedback last week. So much so that Stephanie's just gonna be here every week now. So
yeah. You're one of us now. You're one of us now.
One of us.
Well, we're like, you guys are stuck with me.
Oh gosh, she's gonna take over. She's just gonna be the leader one day. She's gonna overthrow us, LeRon. It's fine.
That's okay. We'll make another show.
What is this other show?
I don't know. Look, we'll just make another. We'll just make another spin-off from Boss Rush podcast.
Before dawn.
And you guys will just constantly have a cycle of making new shows.
Yeah.
And letting them get taken over. Maybe that's the plan, though. Maybe that's the plan. Yeah. Like get all the contributors of Boss Rush to wind up being on shows. Like maybe that's the plan.
It is the plan, actually. I think it is the plan. Oh, man. Speaking of Boss Rush, this is the Boss Rush podcast, the flagship show of the Boss Rush Network, where each and every week we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about video games, movies, TV, and everything we love about them. You can catch the show live on Wednesday nights on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Network or on Mondays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast apps. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review and rating. Just leave a nice one. If it's anything less than 5 stars, we don't want it. Oh, God.
Or we'll come after you. Oh, avalanche.
Oh, God. Shelves are falling.
Yeah.
Shelves are falling. It's okay. That's what happens when you use, like, those command strips to hang shelves instead of, nails.
They're awful.
So, threw me off. Stupid shelves. Just threw me off. You can email the show at bossrushnetwork@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at bossrushnetwork. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out bossrush.net for all of our content, including other shows, written works, etc., etc.
etc.
All right, guys, what are we doing with our lives? Shane, I'm going to you first because you're the guest, and I'm going to go see why this shelf fell over.
Besides work, been playing some games. Probably tell. I don't know if we're talking about that, but
Yes, we are.
and I'll save that for later. But yes, I'm playing games. Got the PS5 a couple weeks ago, so really enjoying that.
Congrats.
Thank you. My wife gave me the green light, so for my birthday, and so I spent days and days trying to find one. I got one. She was probably hoping that I wasn't going to find one, but I did.
that was probably she thought she was sending you on the fruitless search. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably why she okayed it. It's like, oh, he's probably not going to get it anyway. Let the poor guy have some.
And then I know when I said I got it, she's like, "Oh, good."
Editorial that you wrote.
So, yeah.
I think your article on that comes out this week. Later this week, right? I think your article on that's coming out this Saturday.
Yes. So I did an article on my first week with PlayStation 5. So
Nice.
I also am writing another article about The Last of Us 2. Not what you would think it would be about, but I don't know. Last year I posted some pictures while I was playing the game. I came across a ice machine, and when I looked at it, I'm like, hey, that looks familiar. And I work for a company that makes ice machines, and I'm like, that is our ice machine. So I'm pretty sure it was modeled after our ice machines. So
Oh wow.
I kind of wrote a story about seeing something in real life, seeing it in game, and how it makes it personal. And you'll have to read it. I'm going to talk to my work just to make sure everything's okay on their end, that it's going to get posted. So, but yeah, that's
nice.
So, what game are you currently playing right now? Then?
I'm playing God of War, and I'm playing 2018 God of War, and I'm playing Spiritfarer on Switch.
Okay.
Nice.
And I started a little Wreckfest too. So.
Did you say Wreckfest?
Yeah, it's pretty fun on the PS5.
Ed and Jesse talk about Wreckfest all the time.
My brother was over Sunday, and he's like, oh, I want to try the Wreckfest on PS5 because he has it on PS4. And he's like, I'm going to go get something to drink. And he stands up to get something to drink, and the race starts. And he's like, well, that was quick. Sat down. He's like, it's like 5 times longer to load on PS4. So
I got to tell you, these new consoles and the load times are just like...
Yeah, I'm going to get spoiled.
How do we ever wait for things?
I know.
Yeah.
Shut up, LeRon. We know you've had SSDs for like 25 years. I don't want to hear about it. Okay. Us normies who like to plug things into our TV and sit on the couch and play them.
Wait, here's the question though. Like you guys owned a PS4, right? You guys never thought to drop an SSD inside the PS4?
No, LeRon. I'm not technically savvy. I would have opened it up and like Jack and Daxter would have fallen out because they're running the thing, and my PS5 would have just fallen apart. Okay. PS4, whatever it is.
God, so much hostility. All I did was
it would have fallen apart like a Kit Kat bar that it looks like. Okay. Break me off a piece of that PS4.
Technological knowledge, like someone on this panel that might be able to educate us later.
I'm the Ron MIT guy. I dropped SSD right in there.
I'm a tinkerer. I'm that guy who messed around and like loosened all the table legs off of the dining room table and got grounded for like 2 years because of that crap.
All right, LeRon, we're all not that good with our hands, okay?
Something his boyfriend never says.
Oh.
I don't know why that just came out of my mouth.
I know, man. Is it lack of sleep? Because I feel like you're on a tear right now.
Hey, I slept for a solid 4.5 hours last night. Okay, it was great.
You and me both, man. I actually no, because I don't want any questions for why I did not go to bed early enough or on time. So no.
Oh, well.
Next topic.
Stephanie, what are
You
you
can't
playing?
do that to us. All right, fine. What am I playing? So I'm still playing Firewatch and Skyward Sword on my Switch. I said pre-recording that my son loves anything Zelda. So what we do is when I have him and it's not a busy night, we'll fire that up and he'll watch me play, and then he'll ask for one of the two controllers because we do motion control. So he'll control Link's movement and I'll be the person swinging the sword. So that's the child-friendly entertainment. I'm still in Ghost of Tsushima with my PS4. I haven't picked that up in a week because I got my Xbox Series X, which I want to talk about later because last week I was waiting for it. And I downloaded a ton of games. I'm currently playing through The Medium because I do want to get that on PS5 when I eventually get my PS5, but I want to experience how it is now. It takes a while for me to get used to that split screen. I feel like I'm going like the opposite of cross-eyed, like what? I'm trying to look at both ways. But I'm actually downloading right now Chernobylite. That got released today, I think. Normally I'm not a survival horror person, but I don't know. I just really like the premise and I want to try something different. And if I get decent hours on it, I might write a review. So
Nice. What is Chernobylite? I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
Isn't it isn't it like not so much a spin-off of Metro, but isn't it like in that same vein, Metro Last Exodus?
That's kind of what I got off of it. It was like a Metro type game, first person shooter.
Yeah. Oh well, all I know is when they unveiled it at E3, like the internet lost its mind over the summer.
I'm gonna look this up.
I haven't played that, but yeah, please do. I just know that you play as this guy who revisits Chernobyl to solve mysteries of his missing wife, fiance, lover, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he gets kind of stuck in this place where he has to, find resources, stay alive, and fight both people and these weird creature-like things at the aftermath and all that radiation and all that good stuff. So I heard there's co-op too, but...
I'm trying to look for it. It's not even.
How do you like Firewatch so far?
Firewatch, it's all right. I really didn't think Firewatch was such a super powerful game as far as like the tech goes, but it's what's that word when it's what the Switch does it a lot when it lags, like the frame rates drop real bad.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Frame rate drop.
And I'm not one to be all like, ooh, mine runs at X frames per second. But I just noticed I call it a simple game like Firewatch, where I'm just walking around the woods and not doing any special move, and the frame rate just like plummets. I'm like, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm. I played it on PC. I loved it.
Oh, I bet you it's much better on there. I like the dialogue.
You're playing it on Switch, right? You said?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Switch is starting to get to that point where like the novelty of having these bigger games on there is starting to wear off, Yeah. Shut up, LeRon. I felt it. I felt it coming.
I didn't say anything.
I know what happens on Crossroads.
Wait, what? Oh, wait. What happened on Crossroads?
I don't know. I didn't listen to it.
Because last night we devoted 25 minutes to Switch Direct.
I know. But yeah, like.
And we had a good time. You know what? Despite what hate and discontent might go on, with Crossroads people, like we actually praised the Direct last night. Like, I mean, it was a fun time.
It's surprising because nobody else seems to be.
Well, you see, that's because we're PlayStation gamers, and we try to appreciate everything that we get. I mean, yeah, there were definitely some hit and misses from the Direct.
Here's the thing. I thought the Direct was good. I think everybody just has a sour taste in their mouth from that Mario cast. But
well, yeah, that is true. The Mario casting did like dominate the entire Direct. We have words about that too last night. But
I do have to say though, Metroid Dread. I'm not a Metroidvania guy. I'm not. I try every time one of these good ones, quote unquote, comes out. I get it. I try it. and I can't. But Metroid Dread's going to be the one.
Yeah, and it's like just a little over a week away. It's so close. I can't wait.
I'm sad though because I did have to. I had to cancel that OLED pre-order.
Why? Wait, why?
Because just stuff going on.
Okay.
Preschool, bills. That flood that happened.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff. So I'm trying to prioritize. Gotcha. Here's the thing. I already have 2. Okay, I don't really need a third one. Okay.
Well, this was supposed to be the one that replaced your old one.
I know.
Yeah, the one that you said that you felt like was going to explode any day now.
Yeah, I load up the eShop. I have to buy stuff on the Switch Lite and then download it onto my regular Switch because it's like when I load up the eShop, it's just like I feel like it vibrates so hard that I feel like the casing of the Switch around the screen is going to just like pop off.
Is that a day one?
Yeah.
But also in his defense, his daughter decided she wanted to play disc golf with it.
That's fair. My kid did throw it across the room a few times.
Whew. That poor thing.
I think my kid dropped mine once.
It is my fault for leaving it on my armrest while I went to go get a glass of water on the couch.
Sounds like your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally irresponsible, Corey.
Gosh, terrible dad.
Yeah, mine's just cracked in the back where the screw is, so I can pull the back left corner off.
Yeah.
And put it back on, and the kickstand's busted. I got tape on the back. Other than that, it still works.
I mean, my Switch doesn't have any like visual cracks or anything. It's just loud. So I'm surprised with how much
I my PS4 to drown it out.
Oh god, that PS4 man, thing is loud. PS4's, let me tell you, loud. What were we talking about?
Oh, I was just finishing talking about the games I was playing. So yeah, Chernobylite, and then I'm also downloading. Crap, I'm blanking out. Come back to me on it. But yeah, I'm starting to try out all my all the games on Xbox. So I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
LeRon, what you playing?
Well, I'm trying to wrap up my run of Canon Bridge of Spirits right now, and I'm also playing Tales of Arise. But I made a terrible mistake over the weekend, and actually I made a terrible mistake over the weekend. I made a terrible mistake last night on the show. The terrible mistake I made over the weekend was I decided to pick up ActRaiser Renaissance on the PC.
Oh gosh, that was your first mistake. I hear that game runs so bad. I hear it's really bad.
No, I haven't had any problems with it. Like, running bad where?
Just like a lot of frame rate hitches and like the God mode stuff and like the tower defense stuff they added is bad and just.
Okay, the tower defense stuff, I don't remember that in the original game.
They added it. They added a bunch of stuff.
Okay, it hasn't really bothered me that much because I mean, like, I guess it's the nostalgia element for me because like I played this game when it was brand new, like back on the Super Nintendo. So like it's a fun time so far for me. But the mistake I made last night was I picked up the game Unmetal.
Unmetal.
Yeah.
Huh.
I talked about it. I talked about it last night because one of the segments we do on Crossroads now is like the new and notable games for the week coming to PS5 and PS4, and I talked about it. And the sad part is that when I first did the research on it, when I was getting the show notes ready for it, I was like, okay, Unmetal, yeah, just another run of the mill indie title. And then as I was looking up information for it, I was like, oh, I think I should pick this up. So I picked it up. And like for the hour before the show started, I played it. And let me tell you this: if you liked and missed the original Metal Gear from the NES, this is up your alley. So just think Metal Gear meets Tropic Thunder or Hot Shots. Those movies, and wow. This is what you get. So basically, like think of all the homages to like all the 2D like NES games that are in that vein. Mm-hmm. But the sound design of the game is so nice. Like it's crisp. It doesn't. You would look at that game, you're thinking like chip tunes, like the old like 8-bit like music and stuff. No, like it's got a fully realized soundtrack, and every single character has voice acting. Like, yeah. So I'm not gonna throw any real spoilers for the game. Well, I'm gonna throw one spoiler out. Like your guy's name is Jesse Fox. So just think of all the Metal Gear like homages right there, just in that name alone. He winds up getting caught behind enemy lines, and then he has to escape. But while he's escaping, he's also thwarting an alien invasion from like mutant chipmunks. It's
okay.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious, but like I said, it plays just like some of the old school NES games, particularly Metal Gear.
Wow.
And so I was talking about it last night on Crossroads, and now everybody else on Crossroads has gone out and gotten the game. It's probably some of the best $20 you'll spend right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah, check it. Yeah, check it out. Like, as a matter of fact, just go look up the trailer for it. As a matter of fact, I'll find the trailer and throw it in the Twitch chat right now. Because my God, it's a hilarity.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I found it. Here we go. Coming at y'all.
Cool.
Yeah. So I've, and you know what's crazy? Like, I told myself for the entire month of September I was not going to buy any games, and I did really well until I remembered last week that Kana was coming out, and Kana was the one game that I wanted for PS5 like since the launch.
To be fair, it was supposed to come out in August, so you could justify it like that.
Well, true, yeah, so like it broke my thing of not buying games, and then it was like the floodgates open, because I was like, oh, this is a $40 game, so I bought Kana, and then wound up spending $60 to get Tales of Arise, and wound up spending $30 to get ActRaiser, and then wound up spending another $20.
Moneybags over here. Gosh.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it's not Moneybags. Trust me, because I'm already like, I'm in trouble. Because October's a loaded month. Thank God.
I was just gonna say.
Thank God I bought Metroid like 2 months ago.
I'm excited for Mario Party.
You and Austin both.
We're gonna have a Mario Party.
Mario Party.
Yeah. I don't know if you watched that series on Giant Bomb, but it's like their best series. It's awesome. Anyways, I guess it's my turn.
Tell us.
I played Destiny, guys. Surprise.
What?
Yeah.
Boring. Find another game to play.
I finished Psychonauts 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
It was very good. It was very good. It's the story tackles a lot of interesting themes, because like it's obviously you look at it and it's cartoony and it's funny and it's got a lot of great writing and stuff, but like it tackles a lot of themes that people kind of deal with sometimes daily, sometimes maybe yourself or someone that struggles with this or whatever. Like one of the characters has PTSD and really struggles with it, and you help him kind of mend that struggle, or kind of help him cope with it. You help someone who has a gambling addiction, who equates risk with reward, and you kind of like go through their brain and connect different words to make them kind of feel a different way about rewarding. Like, being with the people you love is rewarding, right? It's not always about the risk. It's about how you feel about yourself and that kind of thing. It's a really deep game considering, right? Like what it looks like and how it plays and how funny it is and how ridiculous the characters are and everything. But like it really tackles really real themes, and it was really good. I enjoyed it immensely. Except the last boss fight was stupid, but the end credits stuff is really fun too.
Okay. I think you've mentioned before that you technically don't need to play the original if you want to play Psychonauts 2. Like, they do a good job bridging the gap
They do a great job at the beginning setting up the story for Psychonauts 2. Like, it's literally like Raz, the main character, like writing in his notebook and like telling the story of the first game, and even the VR game. They catch you up on the story of the VR game that really nobody played because it was a PSVR exclusive. And it does a really good job catching up, because like I played the first game, but I only played a couple hours of it because it just, like, at the time there were so many other better platformers out there, and like Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank and Mario Sunshine, and there's just better platformers out there. It was a cool idea that just wasn't, they didn't hit the mark, whereas this one, they really took that Microsoft money and just polished the crap out of it. And I was talking with some friends last night. I think it's better than Mario Odyssey, to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest 3D Mario guy. I think I've been pretty open about that for a long time, but like, this game does some really unique stuff, especially because like the powers you get really give you it really has an inventive way of creating better platforming mechanics, like the telekinesis, or you get like a hang glider or a grappling hook, or just all these different powers that help you traverse the world, and it's really unique and fun. And it's good. I highly recommend it. It's on Game Pass. It's on PS4. So the first one's on Game Pass too, if you really want to dive into that. But so I finished that, and I downloaded this this demo on Switch. This game is coming out sometime next week. If you liked, I don't know if you guys played Crosscode or not, but this game it's called Unsighted. It's a action RPG. It's it's more Zelda-esque than Crosscode was. Crosscode was more of a really big action RPG, where this is just kind of like more of a Zelda-esque game, as far as I can tell. It's just a demo though, so like I don't know if the mechanics open up or whatever, but it's got a really cool art style, really just polished gameplay. It's really fun. I've played about a half hour of it. It's really cool. I really recommend it. There's a demo, and it's coming to Game Pass also, so if you don't want to buy it on Switch, you can play it on Game Pass. So that's all I've been playing. But two highly recommended games and one game for me, I guess, because nobody cares about Destiny the way I do. It's fine. So
I did beat Plague's Tale also this week.
Oh yeah,
good game. I don't know if you guys played that at all, but I know David Lasby was playing it. Last time I checked, he was only halfway through, but I finally finished it, and I can't wait for the sequel. It's fun.
Yeah, that's on Game Pass too.
Okay.
Thought about downloading it. I've thought about playing it 100 times, but
it's worth playing. It's fun.
Is it a long game?
It's less. I think it's less than like 15 hours.
Okay.
It's probably less than that actually. There's 16 chapters. Most chapters about 35 to 45 minutes a chapter, but some of them are like 5 to 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So, cool. Maybe I'll check it out. So, all right. So if you listen to last week's show, you guys know that we start to split the show into topics. Everybody brings a topic. We discuss the topic for a little bit, and then we move on to the next topic. I'm going to go first because LeRon's delay of the show gave me a really good idea for a topic.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
So thanks, LeRon, for my topic.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, I'm here as a contributor of Boss Rush. I'm here to help.
It's fair.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help. You're fired. So it is the 25th anniversary of the Nintendo 64. I'm really glad somebody brought that to my attention, because now I feel very old. So
again, just being a contributor.
yeah, thanks. Thanks. I got this console when I was, let's see, how old am I now? 30. I'll be 35. I got this console when I was 10. Got Mario 64 with it. I've told this story a lot, but my grandma got me a Nintendo 64 for Christmas when I asked for one and my parents didn't get me one, and my grandma came over and she had me pull a bag out of her trunk of her car, and it was a Nintendo 64. It was really exciting.
And I can just imagine little Corey losing his effing mind.
Oh my gosh, I opened it right away. And then I was upset when they wouldn't let me go upstairs and play it because I had to spend time with family.
Like
family's overrated.
Wow. I had to make a hard choice. So we had the NES and the SNES, and we only had, I think we had a TV in the family room, TV in the living room, and my parents said if you wanted N64, you got to sell your NES or your SNES.
Oh, no. That's hard. That's hardcore.
I sold my NES to my cousins. 50 games. Two to three controllers, the light gun, the super scope, the running pad for $50.
Oh no,
that's painful.
All those games cost about $30 to $50 now, and it pains me.
That hurts my soul.
It does. But I got to play Ocarina of Time, my favorite game, so I can't be too mad, I guess.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Still salty. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that's how most people had to do it, though, right? Like, not everybody is fortunate enough to just like get the new system and put the old one on the shelf, right? Like, I remember trading in games for stuff. I never got rid of my consoles, right? Like, because I always thought, don't get rid of the hardware. You can always buy the game back, even if it's ridiculous amount of money. But the hardware is... I actually just replaced the pins in my NES about 5 years ago, and it works like brand new. It's like a brand new NES. It's awesome. Right. It's so good. Don't have to blow in the cartridges. Don't have to slam it down because the track is off. No blue screen. It's nice. But anyways, we're here to talk about Nintendo 64. So what I'm going to do, it's a hit or miss. Thanks, LeRon. Hit or miss. I want everybody's opinion. I'm going to name off 10 Nintendo 64 games. And I want a hit or a miss. So, I got to bring up my list of games here. And we're just going to go through them. Now, some of them may be popular. Some of them may be obscure. But everyone's going to have a good time.
All right.
Here we go. First game. Diddy Kong Racing.
Hit.
LeRon's got this weird smirk on his face.
I'm going to say hit because my boyfriend will kill me if I say anything else.
Thank you. I was starting to feel super alone. I'm like, am I the only one that likes it?
I love Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario's Kart 64.
I will agree. I will agree with you on that one. I 100% agree with you on that one.
What about you, Shane?
I'm going to say hit. I'm probably 60-40 there. I'll do hit. I'm not.
No, hold on. Don't devil's advocate it like Corey tried to do on my segment.
I didn't devil's advocate. I didn't play two of the games. I can't judge games I haven't played. That's what the internet does.
I can judge games that I haven't played because I'm an adult and I can make informed decisions.
I can't. Okay. All right. Our next game here. Wave Race 64.
Miss for me. I'm not a big racer.
I am also gonna say miss. It was a decent launch title, but it's a miss.
Okay, so I'll say hit. You know, it was my
Yes.
first N64 game, and as much as in the grand scheme of things, I guess it wasn't like the best thing ever. But if you think about like in terms of racing games, it kind of had a unique premise. I can't think of any other kind of jet ski racing game that was pretty cool, and I played the hell out of that game.
Yeah, but that water too. You never saw any water like that before.
Well, that was the first time I was like, whoa.
Well, yeah, that was the first time anyone
Yeah.
saw water effects like that, you know,
Yeah.
and shoot, like, I will say PlayStation floundered with its water effects. Oh,
Yeah, we play in Tomb Raider. It's just like this, like weird, like white
it was like
bubbly filter over a flat surface, and you go underwater, and it's just
and they
you're
did
just
some,
swimming
like-
in the air. You're flying.
Yeah, they did some like weird parallaxing thing to make it seem like it was water moving around
Yeah.
you, but nah.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a good PS1 classic, but man, those textures they blend together not so nicely.
Yeah, but like with Wave Race, I can just hear the announcer's voice in my head, and you know those stupid buoys you have to follow the directions in, and you could like do tricks
Yeah.
on the jet skis, even though it's very basic. I like as a kid, I was super excited just to do a handstand. I'm like, oh, look at me, mom! And then she's like, shut that game off and go to dinner.
We got pod racing. That's what our first game was.
Ooh,
So
God, and
that
God.
one.
So I had Star Wars Racer. I had the pod racing game for Dreamcast, and then I went over to my friend's house and he had it for N64. I was like, how do you even play this game? It runs at like under 20 frames a second. You can't see more than like 3 inches in front of you. We were like exploding every 5 seconds because we were running into so many walls and stuff. I was like, how are you playing this game? I don't understand. Gosh, the Dreamcast. Rip Dreamcast. The Legend of Zelda. Majora's Mask.
Miss.
Oh.
Miss.
I still haven't played it. So from what I've played, I'm not doing a service for another Zelda podcast. but,
Yeah. No. Gosh. First,
I'm
you've
gonna say
never
this
played.
right now.
First,
I beat it.
you've never played Majora's Mask. Lasby says Age of Calamity is a top 5 Zelda game. I'm starting to question another Zelda podcast and Zelda Dungeon.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
I hate to make it worse, but I'm gonna say miss for me too.
Oh, you guys all hurt my heart here.
Okay.
I
Okay. So Corey, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you drag out Ocarina of Time, that's also gonna be a miss for me because like I did not have the best impression of any of the N64 terms of Legend of Zelda. I did not.
I did.
Like,
I don't. I think.
as-
I think Ocarina of Time is like a mid-tier Zelda game.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull out an old dad joke and be like, you know, like Nintendo 64 Zelda, like that was like the weakest link.
No.
So Majora's Mask was the first Zelda game I ever
It
beat.
works, but I'll keep them.
So it has a special place in my heart. But also, Ocarina of Time and I have a complicated relationship because the only Zelda game up to that point I had played was Link's Awakening, and like I didn't know what the point of Zelda was because I was stupid like 5, 6, 7-year-old, and then like Pokemon started coming out and Mario and Ninja Turtles, and like I was just like, okay, Ninja Turtles, I'm gonna play Ninja Turtles because it's cooler. So like when Ocarina of Time came out, I thought like, oh man, this is really cool. I didn't know this was what Zelda was supposed to be. And then I read Nintendo Power, but I was never reading about Zelda because I wasn't interested in Zelda, right? And somehow I came into a copy of Ocarina of Time, and so I played it and I really liked it, but I didn't know you could go back in time.
Oh,
So
You did not know.
I got to
Okay.
the Shadow Temple,
interesting.
and I couldn't figure out how to get into the Shadow Temple
Okay.
because you're supposed to go back in time and do the first part as a kid, and I didn't know that, and I got really frustrated. It actually took me like 2 years to beat Ocarina of Time because I didn't know that. I ended up buying Majora's Mask the Ocarina of Time strategy guide and the Majora's Mask strategy guide all at the same time. And so I played Majora's Mask first because I was like, oh, this is new. I'm playing Majora's Mask because it's new and it's gold and it's got a hologram on the cover. And
Link can do parkour.
Yeah. And he turns into a little fish boy and a little tree person. And and I loved it. I was like, man, the mask mechanic is so cool. The time thing is awesome, which is hilarious because I hate roguelikes. So every time the time goes back, it's like you got to start over. And I hate that. I wonder if I would like Majora's Mask now if I played it. But back then I liked it.
Slippery slope, my friend.
Anyways, back to my Ocarina of Time story. So after I beat Majora's Mask, I went back and played Ocarina of Time from the point of... I didn't start over. I just continued the game I started 2 years prior and went back. And turns out when you're at the Shadow Temple, you're like almost done with the game because there's only one dungeon after that. And I was like, oh, well, I feel stupid. That was my Ocarina of Time story. So Majora's Mask is a hit for me. Shut up, Ed. I can feel Ed's fingers typing me right now. Oh, Majora's Mask is side quest expansion pack. Eat your snacks and shut up. I'm just kidding, Ed. I love you. You know we have to poke fun of you at least once a show. All right, the next game, Paper Mario.
Hit.
That was quick for LeRon.
Say hit.
I
need
explanation, LeRon. Why was that so quick for you?
You know what? That game was magical for me when I played it. It filled the void that was left behind from Super Mario RPG and the seven what was it, 7 stars?
Legend of the 7 Stars.
Thank you. It kind of filled that gap for me. It was a game that I didn't know I needed until it actually came out. Just like the Super Mario RPG was a game that I didn't know I needed until it came out. And the cool thing about Paper Mario is Paper Mario is the reason why we got Mario and Luigi, those games. Mm-hmm. Like, and so yeah, it's got a special place for me. Like, I love it. Like, it was fun, and like just some of the zaniness. You know, unfortunately, Paper Mario is kind of like it's become notorious in this day and age now. But like back then, Paper Mario on 64 was amazing, and I enjoyed it.
I think people really like the first one and the second one, right? The GameCube one, I think, is the one that people hold the highest regard, right? But I think it's because they kind of strayed away from the RPG mechanics a little bit because of Mario and Luigi, why people don't really care for Paper Mario anymore.
Yeah.
Although, I hear some people on Boss Rush like the Origami King.
You just trying to invoke like calamity, aren't you?
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Ed and Block to pop in here and just like start.
The only thing I didn't like was actually trying. You fight enemies and you don't get anything for it. Like, you got coins, but what's the point? You just avoid them all. So that was a turnoff for me. But other than that, the story was good. It looked great. But Sticker Star, like, I played that one and I'm like, this is awful. And that's the only one my wife.
Actually, I've heard a lot of people say it got sour with Sticker Star.
Yeah.
What was the mashup one they did with Mario and Luigi? The Paper Jam?
Paper Jam.
Yeah, Paper Jam. Okay. I skipped that one, so I can't tell you anything about it.
Well, I don't think I've ever played Paper Mario, to be honest.
Well, you can when you get that classics thing coming out.
I can. You're right. I'm going to buy my $50 wireless Nintendo 64 controller. Jeez, it's so expensive. Why is that thing $50?
Nintendo just does the best at making sure they have the most expensive controllers on the market these days.
I think the worst offense is that the Genesis controller is $50 also, and it's not even the 6-button controller for fighting games. So
I remember when a brand new Genesis controller was $30. And that was brand new in the heyday of the Sega Genesis.
It's fair, yeah. All right, so that is a hit, seems like, for people. So we're gonna move on to this next game here. One of my absolute favorites.
Here we go.
Cruisin' USA.
Oh God! Oh no! See, this is a hit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say hit as well.
Come on, you can drive a school bus and just run over people.
That's why. Honestly, that is why.
Even though it's just the JPEG of a back end of a school bus and you never really see the front of it. It has this really detailed 3D model in the garage, and then when you go to race, you're just staring at this JPEG that's going.
But back then, you didn't know any better. It was like, oh,
I know,
man, look
but
what I'm doing. I'm driving a school bus.
For real.
Mario Kart was the same way, though. Like, those were just, like, flat JPEGs, and when you turned, it was just like, oh, we're just going to do the Donkey Kong Country thing and add a different JPEG while you're turning. It just leans a little bit. Oh man, N64 did not age well.
No.
Bomberman 64.
I'm gonna say miss on this one.
Ooh.
Miss for me.
Ooh. Don't let me down,
I
Stephanie.
feel like I know I'm saying a hit a lot, but I have not played Bomberman, but I've watched my cousin play it, and I kind of got his thoughts and feelings back in the day. And if I had played it, I think I would have considered it a hit.
Thank you. Bomberman 64 was the third or fourth N64 game I got, I think, behind Mario 64, Pilot Wings, and Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey.
I like that game. That was a good game.
I don't know why I had it. I had zero interest in hockey whatsoever, but it was so fun.
It was fun to box.
God, it was so cool. It was basically Rock'em Sock'em Robots on ice.
Yeah.
All right, next game. We're going to go Mario Party.
All right.
For the N64, that's a hit for me.
Yes.
You said 3. I might have said yes. So.
Well, I'm kind of like generalizing Mario Party, like 1, 2, and 3. God, Mario, I cannot. Am I the only one that's really excited for Mario Party Superstars?
Well, let's put it this way. I had 4 brothers and a sister, and for my birthday, they all pitched in to buy Mario Party 3 for me, and I did not like Mario Party or Mario Party 2, so I wasn't too happy about it because they wanted it.
Yeah.
So we all ended up playing it, and it actually was pretty fun. So that's the only Mario Party I actually like.
Oh.
Well, here's the thing. I liked Mario Party 64. I was younger. I had friends because, and we would play and have a blast, and I loved the mini games and the boards there. And I did buy the latest Mario Party. Is it 9? I keep forgetting like what number we're at.
I think the latest one is just Super Mario Party.
Super Mario.
The Switch one? Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to tell you right now, as an adult and a parent, I just have no friends. So it's like, I would be more excited for Superstars if I had like, people
friends
to play with. Yeah,
I feel like
I got Mario Golf and
when we played online that one night when we streamed it, that was the most fun I've had with Mario Party in like 20 years. I love that shit.
The last time I actually really played it was my friends all had it on the DS, and they all came over to my house. This was in college, and we all were in different rooms playing Mario Party on our DSs. We weren't even conversing; we were just playing Mario Party.
Wow!
Then we went to the bar and played it.
I tried my best to like Mario Party for DS, but just I don't know. Mario Party has never been a fun time for me. As a matter of fact, the easiest way to piss me off is to get me to play one game of Mario Party, and that will piss me off. The only exception is the one on the Switch. I have a blast playing that one. I don't know why the Switch version is so different an experience for me than it was on the GameCube and the Wii.
Because it's fun. Anything after the GameCube versions are not fun.
I say this all the time to my gamer friends. I was like, number one way to ruin friendships with me is to start playing Mario Kart or Mario Party.
Well, Mario Party's a hit for me. Next game.
I know another miss is coming from me. I just want to know I just want to know where it's laying in wait at.
The next game we're going to hit on here is, hold on, where'd it go? Yes.
Wait, how many more we got left?
We have, this is number 8, so we got
okay.
3 more, I guess. 2, 3 more. I can't count to 10. Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Hit.
Oh
Miss.
man. Oh,
I have a story
man.
for that.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I was in the military on deployment, and the 2 N64 games that saved my life during the deployment were Turok and Killer Instinct Gold.
I like Killer Instinct Gold. The thing is, I think I was probably just too young for Turok, and I'm sure, I don't know, and I feel like just in general, it's an okay game, but again, I was much younger, and this is back in the Blockbuster days, and I really wanted to play Rampage. So Rampage has a dinosaur character in it, so you know when kids ask their parents for things and the parents just don't know any better?
Yeah.
Like that. It's called Rampage. It has a dinosaur character in it. Just look for that on the cover. And he comes back with Turok. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'll start playing
an Indian dude with a hatchet, like trying to kill a velociraptor that's jumping at him. I remember that cover well.
Yeah.
Did anybody play the PS3 or Xbox 360 reboot of Turok?
No. No.
Man, I wanted that game to be so good. I wanted that game to be good, but so bad, and it
I didn't want it to sully my memories of the 64 because like the N64 is one of the weaker Nintendo systems for me, and I didn't want anything to sully my memories of that because I actually had fun playing Turok for 64.
It had a really cool premise though. Like you were John Turok. What a inventive name. But
the Turok game is based off a comic book and a graphic novel series.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Which is why it that game took so long to come out because like of rights issues and stuff. But like you were part of this. It almost had like a Predator type feel where you were like going to this island and you had to go search for your missing commandos or whatever, and like you realize they've been attacked by this herd of dinosaurs, and you go and fight dinosaurs, and then you fight a T-Rex with like a machine gun, and you're like, oh my gosh, dinosaurs use technology. This is crazy. And then it was real bad.
Oh, yeah.
All right. 2 more games, guys. 2 more games. Pokemon Snap.
I hate to admit that I had fun playing that game, so it's a hit. I hate to admit it, though.
I say it's a hit.
It was also a frustrating as fuck game, but it.
What do you mean? You didn't know to throw the apples at the Charmeleon to make a Charizard pop out of the volcano?
I did not. No, I did not. You want to know what's embarrassing about that? A kid told me how to do that later on. That makes it so embarrassing.
Is it embarrassing that I had the player's guide to Pokemon Snap?
You had the guide?
Well, they had images of like all the best pictures, and I'm like, I want to take the best pictures, so I went through the whole guide and was like, how do I get this best picture?
My least favorite thing in a game is taking photographs. I don't know why. It just I like Beyond Good and Evil, but I did not like taking pictures.
So you didn't complete that quest in Breath of the Wild where you had to take pictures of everything.
Nope.
So Fatal Frame is also not a fun time for you
either.
Nope.
I do not like that. I like horror games, but I just don't want to take pictures for for giggles and chuckles.
Especially if it's a survival mechanic.
Yeah.
All right, last game, guys, and then we'll move on to somebody else's topic. The infamous Donkey Kong 64.
Miss.
Shane's just
Hit
shaking
time
his
to
head.
infinity. Listen, I'm not saying it holds well today because I tried playing it like a couple months ago and the camera angles were so bad I just shut the game off. But for its time, I just hit my cat's tail because I was so adamant about it. For its time, I loved it. It's a hit.
That may be true, but I didn't play it till maybe 4 years ago. So, and all I played was the multiplayer.
Oh, the multiplayer was cool.
Shot my peanut gun. So
yeah, it was cool. It was real dumb, actually. It was not great.
We spent an hour trying to shoot each other, and finally, I just stood there and let the other guy shoot me because no one was getting anywhere. So this, I think if it comes to the online, I'll probably play the campaign, but.
All right, we're gonna move to somebody else's topic. Thank you for playing Hit or Miss, Nintendo 64 edition. That segment might come back. That's a good segment.
I like it.
Spawn a lot of good conversation. It's great. You know what, Shane? You're our guest. We're gonna go your way.
Well, Stephanie had mentioned my Kickstarter articles, so I guess my question is: have you backed anything before on any platform? If so, what was it? And if not, why not?
Can I go first?
Yes.
Can I go first? All right. So here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I don't like this.
And I feel like such a tool now.
Well,
I backed Mighty Number 9.
Ouch.
I did.
I did. To be fair, the promise of that game was a new Mega Man game by the creator of Mega Man when Mega Man was not relevant. So.
Yeah. So basically, I did the $50 tier, which was, and I can't remember all the details. I'd have to look up the Kickstarter information, but I can't remember all the details of what the $50 tier was supposed to get you. But of course, like the $50 tier did not give me what I was supposed to get in the end. Let's put it that way. Let's also say the fact that the game itself was horribly disappointing. Horribly disappointing. And I am a Mega Man fan. I played all of the mainstream Mega Man games. So, like the games before, and I even played a few of the X series, but Mega Man X and I do not get along. So like I was looking for this. This was going to be a big win because this is before Mega Man 9 it came out. So there was like a desert of Mega Man games, like they were still making the X games, but I feel like the Mega Man X series just basically went off on some wild ass tangent, and then of course you had Mega Man NT Warrior on the Game Boy Advance, you had Mega Man, the Mega Man titles on the PS1
Legends,
Legends, yeah, which introduced one of the best fighting game characters, Tron Bonne. But beyond that, there was a drought.
You said best fighting game character.
that bitch was broken. That's all I'm gonna say. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, chick was broken. But anyway, it was honestly supposed to be like a love letter to Mega Man fans, and it just fell so flat and everything. And the sad part is, like, the game didn't get fixed until like 6 years after people had forgotten about it. Now the game is actually playable, and if you have the PC version of it, like, you can just install mods and make it even better. But beyond that, God, you know what? That was the first and only Kickstarter. Like, it gave me such PTSD that I did not throw money towards Shenmue 3.
I've only backed one Kickstarter. It was the Shovel Knight Kickstarter, and nice. I was pretty happy with how that turned out. I love Shovel Knight so much. Shovel Knight's it's the best. He's the best. I really thought, to be fair, like, Shovel Knight was like, the game itself was just perfect in its own right, but then you got 4 extra campaigns with the different knights. You got the multiplayer thing. You got, the amiibo stuff, which added multiplayer. Like, Shovel Knight is just it's such a ridiculously awesome package, except for the Plague Knight campaign. We don't talk about that. But everything else was amazing. I thought the Spectre Knight DLC is probably as close of a perfect platformer as you can get. I think that Spectre Knight DLC is just, man, the story was great. The movement with the, being able to swing on stuff and grind down rails, and it really added a level of mobility to the Shovel Knight gameplay. It was just, man, Shovel Knight's a great package. If you have not bought and purchased Shovel Knight, what are you doing with your life? Pause the show. Go buy it. That's all I gotta say.
Nice. I haven't backed anything on Kickstarter. I just didn't know too much about it until I started reading Shane's articles, and it really kind of makes me want to look into it. But I want to make sure, because I'm kind of afraid about my own impulses. Like, that's what I'm worried about. I feel like I'm going to go in there and be like, I'm going to back this, I'm going to back that, and I'm going to, I have a little, I have a hard time with control for myself, and I'm very self-aware. So, but like I said, I was just getting inspired. For example, one thing I learned when I was a listener of another Zelda podcast is that there was a cookbook. And Shane, I know you're familiar with that. I don't know if you guys are, Corey and LeRon, but there's a unofficial Legend of Zelda cookbook, and it was a Kickstarter project. And when I learned it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. So cool. If I could discover stuff like that, I'd be happy to support it and be a part of that journey. So that's really all I kind of have to say. But, since we're rounding it out and bringing it back to Shane, maybe you can share with us, maybe some tips for me about how to scope out some cool projects.
To me, it's a lot like stocks. You're investing in it, and sometimes you get burned like LeRon, or sometimes you do excellent, like Corey here with Shovel Knight. Like, I don't know if you read all my articles, but the second one is kind of some of the mishaps or the crap that has happened to me on there, especially that Kumo and A Boy in the Clouds.
I felt so bad for you. Since you started writing it, we've spotlighted it every week on Crossroads. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even know that I was fully aware that I was being kind of screwed over, basically, and until I saw that YouTube video from that guy, and then when I had the opportunity to start writing this, I'm like, okay, I gotta write something about this, because it just, if you don't know the premise, apparently the guy acquired the assets of the trees from the Rhyme game from Tequila Works and put it in his game, and someone said, hey, it kind of looks like those trees from Rhyme, not like calling him out or anything, but then he kind of went off on a rant and got kind of mad, throwing a shade back to Tequila Works, and then that's when it kind of went downhill for him. Mm-hmm. And just the promises that were given, and then promises of returning our money back never happened. I haven't heard from him in the Kickstarter campaign for over a year now. Never saw money back in on my card. So I backed it at the $70 tier for my first physical Kickstarter Switch game with physical soundtrack. There was a lot promised, but I didn't get any of that. So really, really hurt. But in the long run, I've backed 28 games. I've backed 40 projects. Two of them have been pulled because of most likely Nintendo. But just that one was the one that got canceled. Other than that, I've only gotten 4 out of my 28 games that I've backed.
Oh,
they aren't finished yet. So
they aren't finished. I was about to say, wait, hold on.
And I played 2. My first one I backed was Summoner and Mara. It was all right. Decent game. It wasn't the greatest, but and then I've got 3 other games. I backed Beasts of Maravilla Island. That's a photography game.
Wait, what? Excuse me?
I liked it because it looked cool, and then I'm like, well, there's a lot of photos in here, and it ran real slow. It wasn't the greatest either, but I've got 2 sitting on my dock. I got Black Book, that got good reviews, and I've got Sword of the Necromancer that I actually got the digital copy back in January, but I gave it away because I'm supposed to get the physical copy this month. So physical copy with the soundtrack is supposed to be coming. So, but yeah, all the other games are either one was canceled, the rest are still, being made. Like some of the highlight ones are like Sea of Stars, and I think the other one is that Eowyn Chronicle 100 Heroes is another one I backed. That one I've got a physical copy coming, so that'll be exciting when that comes out. So
nice.
But yeah, I say just pick something that you're comfortable with for a tier level, something that you're interested in, and just back it and see what happens. Like I said, it's a gamble. For the most part, I haven't been screwed over many times, but the more you do it, the better you are at picking out what's going to be, crappy versus what's probably going to shine. And going to school for video games, I want to support people who do this because it is very hard. And I love what indies companies do, so why not support that and help them reach their dreams? So
I think that's so awesome.
Basically, Shane's saying he's going to make a Boss Rush RPG for us one day.
Hey, maybe, who knows?
I have a question. I have a question for you. Well, two questions actually. What's the lowest amount you've contributed to a Kickstarter, and what's the highest amount? Or if you are embarrassed by either one of those questions, you can choose to plead the fifth on either of them.
I think I spent,
or whatever, or you can refuse to answer whatever question might get you in trouble with your wife.
I think lowest is about $10 or $12 for a game, just for digital copy. And the highest so far, I think, is a game called Elementalis. It's going to be a Zelda-like game. I backed the one with the physical copy for Switch, and it's probably about $89 I backed it for. So
okay.
So that one I think closed probably a few months ago. A lot of them that I've backed are probably within the last two and a half years, so they're getting close to coming out. So it's just nice to get a monthly update from them and see where they're at, see what they're doing. So but nothing too crazy. I've done a few other things like puzzles and I've done plant like little picos, they're called. You put your herbs in there and grow them. I've done. My wife did a cotton swab, which is like a forever swab, which is like rubber, or replacing cotton swabs, basically. So they're all right. They work when I don't have any. So, but I don't know. I just suggest just trying one and see where you go from there. I started off with a CD, a music CD, Master Sword, Heavy Metal Zelda. So you got to try that. So,
wow.
Yeah, I've backed 2 of their campaigns now, so I got some decent merch for that.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Stephanie, what's your topic?
So, as I mentioned before, I finally unboxed my Xbox Series X last Thursday or Friday, and I freaked out. In my little video clip that I made, I said I was pretty much just as excited as the day that I was gifted my N64. And for the audience, I've never owned an Xbox in my life, so this is my very first Xbox system. So I just wanted to ask, did you guys have your favorite system that you've bought for yourself? And what was your experience with that, especially more directed to Shane? Maybe you could chat a little bit again about, and I know your article's coming out, but just a little preview about your week with PS5 and just the emotions and thrills that go along with getting a new console, especially one that you've never owned previous generations of.
Well, for the PS5, I think what it was, it's kind of for this system and for this generation of systems, with the pandemic, with how things are being sold, they don't really have them in store. You can't try it out. And I just was enamored on how the controller was going to be, and as soon as I played that Astro's Playroom and tested out that controller, I was like, wow, they really upped the controller from 4 and basically taking a lot of the stuff the Switch has and the Joy-Cons and just beefing it up. It felt great. It feels great. I played Wreckfest last night, and when your car's starting to get smashed up, it idles more, and you can just feel your engine on your trigger to the gas, that it just shakes more, and it's such a cool feeling. And I'm happy I picked it up. I also got the same feeling getting the Switch. That was the last console. I actually went into GameStop, was there at midnight, picked it up, got Legend of Zelda. That was another awesome, I guess, highlight to a game or a system that I actually picked up. Most of my other systems that I got were gifts. PS3 was a gift. PS4 was a gift. My Wii was a gift. My Wii U was a gift. I think I've only purchased, I want to say the 3DS was the first one I actually purchased myself, day one, for $250, and I got all those extra games. Thanks, guys. And yeah, so I was kind of salty when $80 came off that, but
yeah, but you have all those exclusive games that you can't play anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So
I gotta say, I'm very similar along with you. Like, aside from the Xbox that I just got, was the Nintendo Switch. I don't know. There's just something about it. Previously, I would really just buy the consoles used. I kind of wait a little bit until the price drops so I can afford it. But the Switch, when I saw Breath of the Wild trailer, I'm like, I'm getting it. So I got Breath of the Wild first because I couldn't find the console anywhere. Then I had to go to work. So I made my ex at the time. I didn't make him. He was kind enough to volunteer to drive around to several stores until he saw a physical Amazon store at a mall and got the Switch that day. And I was like celebrating it in my cubicle.
I took the day off work to go get my Switch. I was like, I'm calling off. I'm going to play this thing. I actually took like 4 vacation days to play Zelda.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I mean, everybody knows how disappointing the Wii U was in terms of sales and whatever. Like, personally, I think the Wii U has the best library of any Nintendo system.
It's clean. The filing system is nice. I am surprised Switch has not done any of that.
I know. It bothers me, but I took the day off. I played a lot of Zelda. I played 1-2 Switch. We took the Switch over to my sister-in-law's and brother-in-law's house for what's that holiday? New Year's. Jesus. New Year's. And we played 1-2 Switch, and it was like, man, this game is really stupid. But but nobody plays games except for me. And you could totally see that 1-2 Switch was the game made for these people that don't play games. And like, everybody was making fun of 1-2 Switch and how stupid it looked and how dumb, like, it's not even a game. It's like you're watching something and you're doing, like, you're facing each other. Like, it's a game for people that don't play games. And everybody within our circles at the time was like, oh my gosh, this game's so stupid. Why is this not the pack-in game? Whatever. But like, that game totally worked on them to the point where, like, my brother-in-law bought a Switch for 1-2 Switch and the Street Fighter re-release.
What?
Yeah.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's like, I think sometimes we're just so caught up in like trying to keep up with things, or at least, trying to be somewhat informed on things all the time and reading news sites and doing these podcasts and stuff that like I think sometimes we lose sight of the, you know, quote unquote normal person who dabbles in games, you know, maybe buys like 1 or 2 games a year, and like you know, we always kind of make fun of the Call of Duty Madden gamer where those are the only games they buy every year, and maybe they'll play one other thing that year, and it's like Nintendo totally got people with 1-2 Switch and Street Fighter.
Well,
what?
I was gonna say,
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
I'm just gonna say the one game that stuck out to me from 1-2 Switch, and I forgot how I ended up getting that game. It's the one where you milk the cow.
Mm-hmm. My nephew's
and just the motion, and it's.
If you're an adult, that's a different kind of thought going through your head than milking a cow. We'll just throw it out there. I gotta tell you though,
I don't even know, and I don't want to know.
You know, LeRon.
Yeah.
You know the motion of milking a cow and what that simulates in human life. You're just milking something else, okay? But my nephews are obsessed with 1-2 Switch. Every time they come over, they want to play the sword catching game.
Okay.
They want to play the air guitar game. Like they're like obsessed with 1-2 Switch. And my one nephew is also obsessed with Splatoon. Also, I got him because like he's at that weird age where like kid games, like he's too old for kid games, but he's not old enough to play games that are like Fortnite or Halo or something that he shows interest in, but he's 8, right? Like he's too young. So I was like, there's a shooter game you can play. It's called Splatoon. It's not like violent or anything. And oh my gosh, he loves it. He loves it. Loves it.
So what's funny is like an example, buying something just because you played it somewhere else. The only Microsoft console I own is the 360. And the reason why we got it was me and my wife went over to my friend's house. He had just gotten Plants vs. Zombies. We played about half the game while we were there. And we're like, we like this game. We can't get it anywhere else at the time. And we went out and bought a 360, the Halo Reach edition. Bought, we got online and got Plants vs. Zombies. So that's why I have a 360, and I own maybe 15 games. So
man, Xbox 360 was a seminal console for me, I think. I was in college when 360 came out, and a couple people down the hall got one, and like I was like, I like my Xbox, but I'm a Nintendo guy. I'm gonna stick with my Nintendo. And like we had an original Xbox in our common area where like it never shut off. It was just Halo 2 all the time. But like I was like, I'm gonna stick with Nintendo. I'm gonna sit in here while they're playing Halo, and I'm gonna play fucking Wind Waker or something else, like Extreme G, whatever. I don't know what games I was playing on GameCube at the time. But then I walked down the hall and people were like, I thought they were playing Halo, and I walked in, they were playing Gears of War, the first one, and I was like, what is this game? Like Gears of War was like nothing I'd ever seen before. It was like, it's every generation you think you can point at like a handful of games and be like, this is what defines next gen, right? And like for that generation, it was Oblivion and it was Gears, I think, right? Like you point at it like that's clearly not an original Xbox or PS2 game. So I ended up, the girl I was dating at the time bought me an Xbox 360 and Gears of War for Christmas. Wow. And I was like, cool. And then we're not together anymore. So that's
how I got my Wii.
Yeah.
I've never been able to dupe somebody I was dating into buying a system for me.
I didn't dupe her. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm saying it like that, meaning like I've never had somebody I was dating gift me a video game system. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact they know I'm a big ass fucking nerd, that they know that I will probably have a longer love affair with that video game system than I will with them. So
my wife always says, "Why would I buy you anything? By the time you tell me what you want, you probably have already bought it." and then I just can't get you anything. I'm like,
it's the same thing. Like my wife bought me Singularity on the PS3. I don't know how many years ago on Valentine's Day, and last year I finally opened it like 10 years later to play it. I borrowed someone's PS3 to play it because I asked her, why don't you ever buy me games? And she goes, did you ever play that game I bought you? No.
Wow.
I hopped on and I played it. And then she bought me Detective Pikachu for 3DS. And I still haven't finished that. And she's like, I'll wait till you finish that.
Wow. Man, the timeline on that one. Jeez.
It was at least 8 to 10 years. I have to admit.
Damn.
Wow. Wow. But the I guess the first console I ever bought myself was a Wii. I think was the Wii. Like everything else was like I asked for it for Christmas or something, and like I don't know. I was probably at an age where I probably should have bought this stuff myself, but I just was like, hey, I have parents and they want to know what to get me for my birthday and Christmas, so I'll just ask for it because, my birthday's in November and Christmas is in December, and it's get that 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, I stood in line for a Wii with my cousin out in the middle of the cold of like, it was like, I don't know what, mid-November when that thing came out. It was snowing. It was cold, and like it was 2:00 in the morning and we were the second people in line. I wore flip-flops and basketball shorts because I was like 21 years old and thought I was cool. And then
Of course.
Then I went home and we played Wii Sports all night while I was reading the Zelda instruction manual to Twilight Princess, and then I was sick for 4 days. So
I was about to say enjoy your arthritis and pneumonia.
Yeah. It was a good night though. We had Jimmy John's delivered to Toys R Us.
I mean, what was it like to experience the motion controls for the very, very first time?
It was weird because I had also purchased Red Steel, which is, let's be honest, not the game to test the motion controls. Red Steel was the very first game I played on Wii, and I gotta tell you, I went in there and like that opening scene is like you're in a restaurant and you're kind of fighting your way out of the restaurant to the rooftop or whatever to save your. I don't even remember the rest of that game. That's like the one part that sticks out. And I'm like, swinging my arms all around. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was like running around and like you have to use there's no second stick to use the cameras, so you're like, just slash in the air to turn your character.
Power Ranger type people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that level.
Yeah. And like, I'm like, oh, well, I have a gun in one hand and a sword in the other hand. So can I do one of these cool things where I hold the sword in front of me and like shoot the gun over? And it was just like your hand was like through your wrist. And I was like, oh my gosh, this game.
I have Red Steel 2 sitting behind me still in plastic because I'm like,
I hear Red Steel 2 is good though.
I don't know if I want to go through it.
I hear Red Steel 2 is good though.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Maybe one time I'll bust out the Wii U and toss it in and play it.
It's Ubisoft syndrome where the first game is a cool idea and it sucks, and then the second game is a masterpiece. So
yeah, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly. Watch Dogs 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody else have any cool
LeRon.
stories about buying consoles? LeRon, you were standing in line for that NES, weren't you?
No,
you're old enough for that, right?
I was too young. I was too young for that.
No,
I was too young for that. The NES was I 12 or 13? Like my first video game system was the Atari 2600.
Yeah, that was mine too.
The very first video game system I bought on my own was the Sega Genesis, and I told the story when I was on Power Block a couple of weeks ago. Like the actual first system I bought was a Sega Genesis Sega CD combo pack.
Ooh, that CD. Did you get Sewer Shark? Did you play that Sewer Shark?
Yeah, Sewer Shark.
Yeah.
The bundle I got, it came with 3 games. It came with 2 Sega CD games. Sewer Shark was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the other Sega CD game was, and And for some strange reason, like, because I bought this at a Babbage's before they became Software, etc., before they became GameStop. They gave me there was a pick of like 10 games that you could get, and so I got Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition for the actual Sega Genesis cartridge.
Good choice.
Yeah, but the actual game that I actually spent my own money for and walked out the door with was Sonic CD.
That's Sonic CD. It's not the best Sonic, but it does a lot of interesting things, and that soundtrack is killer.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I feel like Sonic CD is my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game, not counting Sonic Mania.
Yeah, but you can have a favorite game in it. You can see it's not the best in the series, though, right?
That is true. That is true.
Because I still think Sonic 1 is like my favorite Sonic game.
But I can't say for sure between the classic Sonic games which one I like better, Sonic 1 or Sonic 2. I think Sonic 1 kind of edges out because, like, I don't know, I wasn't really a big fan of Tails. No. I wasn't.
I like the color palette of Sonic 1 as well. Like, it's a little bit darker. It's not as like in your face colorful. Like, Tails is stupid. Like, I don't know. And then Sonic 3 was just like,
even for a sidekick character, he was never that good. I'm not sure what they were thinking about him. He's just someone that follows you around. You know, like he doesn't have a purpose. He doesn't have a use. As a matter of fact, he gets hurt more than you do. Yeah. And he's mimicking everything you do. It's like, dude, like all you have to do is like follow my direction. How are you getting killed every 5 seconds?
You got a stage 5 clinger here in Tails, guys.
But the first system that I purchased with my own money that I actually got absolute enjoyment off of was the PS2. Because I mean, I was on deployment and I got my mom to buy a PlayStation 1 for me, so that kind of knocks out the running. The PlayStation 1, I have like fond memories of that one. But PS2, like, it was just something about the PS2 era for me. Like, there's so many great games and stuff. Like that was back when RPGs, in my opinion, were still pretty good. Like, like especially JRPGs and stuff like that. It was still that time, but also like console technology was starting to catch up to arcade technology. So like fighting games played a hell of a lot better than they ever did on any of the previous consoles. There were still some wonky things that were going on. Like they were just trying to make all those sim games like a thing on console, and we all know like those games only play the best on PC and stuff like that. But it was the PS2. I gotta say, like the PS2, like I can't remember how many games I either owned, played, or just came into my possession.
I bet I had at least 100 games for like that, and that whole generation, like Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation 2, like I probably had at least like 100 games for that generation.
Yeah,
that whole generation was just such a good generation.
And man, like when they finally shrunk down the game cases from like the big ass freaking library books to like the actual CD cases, I was so happy. It was just way too easy to store all that stuff at that point.
I remember when I got my PS2, and I was plugging it in and stuff, and like I got my PS2, and then I got Madden. I think Madden 2001 was the Madden that year, and then I got the Bouncer and the Matrix. Like the DVD, the Matrix was my first DVD, and I was like, yeah.
I think that was everybody's first DVD if they had a PS2. I think that was everybody's first DVD.
By the way, I watched the Matrix last week. Movie holds up.
It does.
That first movie is just. It is almost a perfect movie. It is so good. The second two are just it's fun. They're okay, but I'm trying to save it.
I was gonna say I got my PS2 3 months before someone gifted me a PS3.
Oh wait!
I never really got to play PS2 all that much.
Oh wow!
I just realized something. I sounded super derpy just now because I was getting PS1 games confused with PS2 games because PS2 had the plastic cases, whereas PS1 games started off with those big ass fucking cases that got slimmed down to the CD cases. I'm sorry, I'm not as stupid as I sound. I remember these games because I own these systems. As a matter of fact, I still have every PlayStation system I owned. including the handhelds.
Rip Vita. PSP though. PSP had some great games, by the way.
Hey! Do not talk any crap about this thing. Don't.
To be fair, I liked my Vita until I played Borderlands 2 on it, and it bricked my console.
Oh! You have a distasteful memory. I understand that. I get it.
I like the Vita, dude. It has the two best Final Fantasy games on it in Final Fantasy 9 and 10. And you can play some PSP games on it.
Uncharted. Because you
Gravity
played the PS1,
Rush.
You played the PS1 classics on it. I got it. I was like, wait, they didn't port those. Like
Final Fantasy X is natively on Vita.
Oh wait, I was thinking of 9. I know 10 was technically a port.
Yeah,
10 and 2, yeah.
Excuse me, it was 10 and 10.2 HD remastered for Vita. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I have also purchased on Xbox and Switch.
I have it on the Switch as well. Like I feel like I've had this terrible love affair of Final Fantasy 10 and 10.2 because I bought it on PlayStation 2, I bought it on PS Vita, and I have it on Switch now. And
I love Final Fantasy X so much.
I didn't like 10 that much, but 10-2 kind of actually the reason why I didn't like 10 is because like for the most part I felt like a lot of the hero characters were just bland, you know, like and as a person that hated Final Fantasy 8. Yeah.
Auron is cool. Auron is the coolest character in like he's the coolest hero in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I am not arguing against that, but I mean, you know, like
his arm in the sleeve, and then when he whips out his giant sword, he's like, "Wow, my arm is useful." Yeah. This isn't just a glorified sling.
I mean, shoot, like Tidus was whatever, you know. Yuna, we're not going to talk about her because up until that point, like no character is more useless than Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII, and then Yuna comes along.
You're not using Yuna right. You send Yuna through the Black Mage Sphere Grid. She's more powerful than Lulu.
I never thought to do that. Okay, now it's time to dust off the Switch and start playing 10-2.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
I never thought about that. And Lulu was a beast.
Yeah, seriously. If you send Yuna through the Black Mage Sphere Grid, she like doubles the damage output that Lulu did.
I never thought about that.
I beat the final boss in Final Fantasy 10 with Yuna as a black mage in like probably like 6 or 7 rounds because of how much damage she does.
Wow.
Now when Final Fantasy X-2 came out though, I was like, I guess Square was listening to like every complaint everybody had about Yuna because all of a sudden she was like a fucking beast.
I don't think that's the reason why most teenage boys bought Final Fantasy X-2. Just gonna throw that out there.
Well, I wasn't a teenager when that game came out. I mean, you know, Riku looking like Christina Aguilera, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, you know what? I think that's what Corey was getting at there.
I mean, when did that game come out? Like 2002?
Yeah.
3,
and
2?
Pain was the prototype for Ruby Rose.
Yeah, I was 13, I think, when that game came out. So 14, 15. I don't know how old I was. I don't know. Final Fantasy X was a great game. Great game.
Yep.
Don't care what anybody says. That laughing scene has a lot of heart in it. Don't listen to the memes. Okay. It's meant to be a fake laugh. Jerks.
That really makes me want to go back and play 10-10-2 because that was one of my big games when I had my PS2. I love Jack and Daxter.
So
I gotta say, Corey's been having this intoxicating effect on me for a while because he gets all windswept about some of these games and is like, I gotta go play this game now.
Hear that, internet? Corey's intoxicating.
With the exception of Nintendo 64 Zelda games, like it's like every time he talks about one of these games, I swore up and down I hate it. I was like, I gotta play this game again. I gotta play this game again, and why do I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it this time?
What are you doing to us, Corey?
I don't know. What am I doing?
Well, yeah, that's great. But to round it out, I love hearing these stories, and that's kind of why I brought up after I got the Series X, because I think for me, what made it the most exciting is I feel like I've now become a true gamer, so to speak. I've always played video games since N64, but I've been primarily Nintendo with Sony as my secondary, right? And I guess that, that's fine, but I feel like even though everybody has their biases, and I'm like for example, a little bit more Nintendo biased, but I think it's important, so long as you financially are able to do so, is to really expand that experience as much as you can, because I feel like Xbox, the console and their specific titles have what they have to offer, and PlayStation has their own specialties, and Nintendo has their own set. So I'm just excited that I now can have that Microsoft experience. So,
well, the thing too with the Xbox experience too is Game Pass is so cheap that you can just try out everything. You don't have to I mean, no offense to Nintendo or Sony, but if you want to try something, you have to pony up the $60 or $70 and that game comes out, or wait for a sale. Whereas Xbox, everything they put out plus a bunch of cool indies, that's what I did with indies for a while. Was I would download it on Game Pass, play about 2 or 3 hours of it, and if I really liked it, I would be I'm gonna buy this game on Switch, because that's how I'm gonna support the developer, and then if I really like a game that Microsoft puts out, I know Halo's coming to Game Pass, but I will probably just straight up buy Halo because it's Halo and I like Halo a lot. But if I play the campaign and I don't like it, I don't feel like if I decide not to buy it, I wouldn't have been out $70. It'll be the cost of whatever Game Pass is that month. And plus I think the other day I counted on Game Pass, on the Xbox version of Game Pass alone, there's over 400 games on Game Pass right now, which is insane for $15 a month.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we can squeeze in LeRon's topic. What's your topic, LeRon?
Look
at him, look surprised. Oh, me? Oh, me.
Actually, I honestly thought we were going to run out of time on the segment, so I was actually resigned to go ahead and say, my topic won't get hit, and it wasn't it's not one that was oh, boo-hoo, woe is me, things, we're having
sure,
fun. No, for real, we're having fun, and we're talking about the topics and stuff like that. So if one of them gets
so
missed,
dramatic.
you know what? Okay, you want drama? I got drama. Okay, my question. My topic is, do we feel that gamers are tribal when it comes to their likes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You
okay.
You can definitely, even within our communities, the Boss Rush community, you can definitely tell people who are, quote unquote Sony ponies or Nintendo fanboys or the Xbots, you can definitely tell who's where, right? And I don't think anybody's ashamed of being that way, but you could definitely tell, we on Arsenal X and on Crossroads definitely pick on the Nintendo kids for a lot of things, right? That's just the nature of Nintendo being so popular, and it's easy to pick on Nintendo. Or
Is it about Nintendo's popularity though? Because when I was on Pal Block a couple of weeks ago, and I turned around, I was even though I represent Crossroads, which is a PlayStation show, and I'm also one of the main PC guys here for Boss Rush, I acknowledge the fact that Nintendo is the #1 video game company in the world, and also in that instance, I'm 46 years old. The Nintendo Entertainment System was my second video game system ever, and just how we think about how how we're saying stuff like racism and homophobia and all that stuff won't really die out until the people who hold on to those ideals and stuff die out. It's kind of the same thing with Nintendo. A lot of people are waiting for guys like me who it was their first, maybe their second console ever, waiting for guys like me to die, so like Nintendo's stranglehold, you know, on the popular vote, like disappear. Well, I'm just saying though, it you know, it sounds dark and stuff like that, but you know, like Austin, for example, Austin's very first system was a PlayStation. You know, it's fascinating because like all I can relate to are people whose very first system was an Atari or a ColecoVision or an Intellivision or even the NES and stuff like that. And I'm starting to meet people who their very first system was a PS2. You know, their very first system was an Xbox.
You're gonna get into that generation where like people's
their first system was a Wii.
Tablet, was an iPad or a
mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I feel like in the day and age where like the console war concept is dead at this point, you know, because it's Nintendo watching Microsoft and Sony have a slap fight. Like, why are gamers still so tribal about this stuff, you know? Because I feel like at the end of the day, like if we're all gamers, like we should be appreciating everything that's gaming, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you're absolutely right. People get super butthurt when games go cross-platform. Like if it's originally like a Sony exclusive or Xbox, all of a sudden it's like available on PC or whatever. People lose their freaking mind.
And
right, when like Horizon got announced for PC, like so many people were like, so upset.
And I feel like PC is like a non-starter because in all honesty, PC is what kept gaming relevant. Like I said earlier, during the freaking, you know, depression, the video game depression and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know.
It's also a great place to play old Nintendo games because Nintendo refuses to put them on their consoles to purchase.
Hey, you said it, not me. but you know, it's just really wild. Like, you know, for the fact that, you know, like there was rumors going around that Ratchet and Clank Ripped Apart might show up on the PC. Like it's starting to look like more and more it might be a reality. But when we first talked about it on Crossroads, man, I had people give that segment like dislikes and negative remarks because like I was like, wow. You know, just because of the fact that something like that, you know, it's like I guess they're trying to equate it to like if Mario ever comes to PC, and guess what, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics has been on PC, so why are you bitching, you know?
Yeah, I mean the big thing was like when Microsoft decided to put all their first-party games on Steam, right? Was like, the people who came out,
people lost their shit too.
The people who were like, oh, no, I never have to own an Xbox, and then you have the people who are Xbox fanboys are like, why aren't you supporting my system? It's like they're just offering you choice. Like, no offense to PC players, but I don't want to sit at my desk where I work and, you know, do stuff like this to play games. I want to go in my living room on this big dumb expensive couch that we paid for, on this big dumb expensive TV I paid for, and play my Xbox with my feet up and not have to worry about updating drivers or if I have the right graphics card or, you know, if the SSD.
I feel like this is...
But I mean, you know what I'm saying is like, or like I want to go in there and watch Netflix or Disney Plus while I'm sitting on the couch playing Tetris on my Switch or something, right? Like
the one thing I envy about console gamers, like if you're not a PC gamer, the one thing I envy about console gamers,
why do I feel like is we're all dumb?
No. The one thing I envy about console gamers is that a freaking update to your graphics card, you know, will break your game.
Yeah,
will break it.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. It's like, oh no, I have to uninstall the graphics driver and put the old one back on, and then I have to fix all my settings again. You guys don't have to. Console gamers don't have to worry about that. Console gamers do have to worry about game breaking patches. Like, you know, for example, I'm gonna use Cyberpunk as an example. Like you know, they did a lot of hot fixes that actually fixed it, and then every so often a hot fix comes out and it basically is like 5 steps backwards from what it did.
Man, that game. By the way, Cyberpunk started out so strong, and then like the middle of that game was just like the most generic feeling video game of all time, and then the ending was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I can agree with that.
Where's the middle of this game? Ugh. I can only blow up so many cars and, like, you know, capture so many robot cars take them back to the taxi service. You know what I mean? Like, Cyberpunk though. I've been getting the itch to go back to that game, and I don't know why.
Well, I discovered recently that, like, thanks to all the patches and stuff on the PC side, like the game, it's kind of like what happens. Like, I'm not gonna say like it's kind of what people that play Destiny, like, you know, like how there's just content gone now.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk hasn't gotten to that level yet, but I played Cyberpunk recently after I got my new graphics card. Like, this is going to be close as I get to a 30 series graphics card. Like, I got the top of the line like 20 series graphics card, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait for the 40 series to come out. But when I started playing Cyberpunk, I was like, man, this doesn't even seem like the same game, and it's not because of what the graphics card is doing. It's what all the patches and updates have done for the game.
Yeah. That really sucks in Destiny though, because like they took out 3 whole campaigns.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was like, man, I didn't know it was that serious like that. You know, like, and which is why who started the conversation about? Was it you, Stephanie, about preservation of games?
Yeah, that's the one we had last week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It actually got me thinking, you know, because it's like, yeah, there are some games that you just cannot. There's just some games you can't like play in its like original form anymore. And you think about games that, you know, like the servers have been taken down and stuff like that. Like, even if I decided to play the original Monster Hunter game for PS2, I can't play half of it because the chunk of it is online.
Wow. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen with these like living games, right? Like Destiny or The Division or even Monster Hunter at some point, right? Or like once, like 20 years from now, like if Destiny's not popular anymore, like that game's just not going to exist. And I've devoted like 7 years of my life at this point to this game, and at some point you're just going to look back and it's just like not going to exist anymore.
Yeah,
you know, and I think Bungie knows that, like, that preservation is something that people want in games. So like I know there's some rumblings that they're trying to get rights to like their old games before. Like, obviously, Microsoft owns Halo, right? So, and they've done a pretty good job of preserving those first, 4 or 5 games that Bungie did, right? In terms of the Master Chief Collection. But, like, Oni, Josh and I were talking about Oni the other night on Tower Casuals, and it was like, it's a Bungie-developed, PlayStation 2 exclusive, published by Rockstar. It's like this really weird amalgamation of things, and it's like, well, Rockstar owns the IP technically. Bungie developed it, but Sony somehow like has some sort of exclusive rights to it. So like trying to get the rights back for that game has been a nightmare for Bungie. And it's just like the rights issues, and that's why like you don't see a lot of the old Ninja Turtles games being re-released because of the rights nightmares and stuff like that. It's just, man,
I don't understand how it gets so entangled like that. I feel like it should not be this complicated.
Well, it's because in the 90s everybody was high on cocaine and didn't think anything past the next 6 months of
All right.
I don't know. I like Ninja Turtles, for example, right? Like Eastman and Laird obviously own the rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, now it's just Eastman, I think. So like owns the rights to Ninja Turtles. Nickelodeon owns the rights to the cartoons and the game stuff. But
and Paramount owns the movie stuff.
For like the original games are IRM owns the rights to the Super Nintendo and Genesis games, but Konami owns the publishing rights to those games. But Nintendo has some sort of interaction with Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo. So that, and then like the music is tied up somewhere else. So like somehow to get all the rights back and to re-release this game, if they were to re-release Turtles in Time today, that game would cost like $40 because of all the people they would have to pay licensing fees to.
Yeah.
Oh man! And then Activision tried to remake it on 360, and oh my gosh, it was just real bad. Do not play Turtles in Time Reshelled. It was, man. Anyways, what were we talking about, LeRon? What was your topic?
Tribalism.
Oh, it was
tribalism, right?
It was tribalism
Right.
in gaming. I mean, okay. So here's a follow-up question, I guess, and I guess at this point we can go ahead and get ready to close the show. What's the best way to combat it? Is it just gamers need to embrace the fact that like they have availability to play games everywhere, or is it a little more, or is it steeped in something else? Is it steeped in immaturity? Like what do you guys think?
I feel like sometimes people just people just want to be dicks on the internet, but like I think
That's a valid point.
I think people, like the people who aren't trying to just be dicks on the internet and they just feel like they want to stand for something or fight for something, and like they're really passionate about games, right? It's almost like sports, right? Like I enjoy watching football, but like I'm a Browns fan because I have been my whole life, and we're finally good for the first time in like 30 years, and it really makes me happy. But like I also enjoy watching other football games, right? Like for me, I can understand like, okay, well, the Chiefs and the Packers are playing tonight, and like I just want to watch a good football game. Well, somebody else who's like a huge Packers fan is gonna crap all over the Chiefs fans, right? And like try to fight. Like I follow some pretty weird Browns things on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. So we played the Bears last weekend. Sorry, Logan, we killed him. But like there's viral videos of like Browns fans just running up to Bears fans who are like just leaving and watching their team get killed and just like starting to fight them. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, this is the physical representation of video game fights on the internet. And it's like, okay, well, it's like that meme where it's like me, nothing, and then no one, whatever, and it's just like, we're gonna fight to the death because I like God of War and you like Xbox, and it's like, oh my god, just shut up.
Which is one of the dumbest things I've also had to think about. Like, I've always found it like weird when someone hates. Okay, like say Xbox fan, for example, they hate the fact that Sony has God of War so much that they refuse to just go out and buy the game and play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've never understood that absolutism. Like it's like like it's like do you like video games or do you just like the shit that you like to play?
Yeah, and it's like. What also pisses me off too is like when people go and defend a game that they've like never even played.
They've never played.
Like, it's like, oh, this game's amazing. Did you play it? No, but I'm a Sony pony, so I'm gonna defend
really
concrete.
Sony ponies?
Yeah.
I've heard PlayStation fanboys. I've never heard Sony pony.
Yeah. And
it's never been directed towards me, thank God. It's never.
Yeah. It's like I know we were kind of joking around before the show when we were doing the shout out stuff, but like I can't tell you if The Last of Us 2 is good or not because I haven't played it, but like I also know what kind of games I prefer, and looking at that game and the little amount that I played the first game, I'm just like, this game's not for me, so like I don't need to play it. But there's also like I prefer to play. I think I lean more the Nintendo side too, but like in terms of games that aren't available on Nintendo stuff, like I lean towards the Xbox. Like that's just where I lean, right? But there's Xbox games that I just don't care for, right? Like I just don't care, like I don't like Quantum Break, for example, was like, okay, that game's cool, like it does a lot of cool things, but like I don't care, and I get that it's kind of like the prequel to Control or whatever, but it's just like I just didn't care about it. And
see, I haven't actually. Well, I barely started Control because I got the Ultimate Edition for Control. But is Quantum Break technically the prequel to?
they haven't really confirmed anything, but like I know that Alan Wake and Control and Quantum Break are all kind of set in the same universe. They haven't really confirmed Quantum Break yet because Microsoft still kind of owns the publishing rights to that game still.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot of games that I really appreciate what they do, and I just don't care. You know, I know BioShock is kind of like, it's one of those games that's held in super high regard, right? Like for its storytelling of the time and what it was doing mechanically and stuff. I played it. I played like three or 4 hours of it. I don't get it. Like I didn't enjoy BioShock.
I don't know why. So when I got my PS3, I played the demo of BioShock and I loved it. And I also got Metal Gear Solid 4 with my PlayStation 3. So both of those games are totally different, and I enjoyed both of them. And I don't know why, just BioShock, I like the premise of it. And I went from a, older TV to I got a 40-inch Samsung, and I plugged in HDMI, and it's a totally different game. And I kind of didn't enjoy it as much. I don't know why. It was just graphics change, and didn't care for it as much. But yeah, I get your thoughts on that. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
but see, that's where we're judging a game, not a system or
not a system or
publisher, right?
Yeah, but there's still a tribalism towards specific games too. Like
Look at the people. Look at the people who love Halo but can't stand Killzone.
Yeah, or like even tribalism within series, right? Where like Halo's a perfect example where like everybody thinks Halo 1, 2, and 3 are the greatest games of all time, and everything that 343 did is garbage. Halo 4 is my favorite Halo game. Halo 5 played great, but like the story was crap. I think it's universally everybody knows that story was not great in Halo 5. But like I really thought the game played great. Like I would go in and just shoot aliens all day with listening to a podcast. It's fine, whatever. I don't know, man. It's just, it really bothers me. And like what I would like to think of Boss Rush as, and us as a general community and stuff, is just like, I don't want to follow the trends of the normal gaming industry, right? Like I feel like we all do a pretty decent job of that. I know like everybody kind of is into their own thing, and I know that I say things that people that might listen to the show like I don't like The Last of Us is something that people will make fun of me forever for, or point at me or tweet at me or send me a DM and said, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. That's fine, but I'm not going to go out of my way to defend a game that I don't care for. I get that people like the game, but like I'm not going to be one of those people that defends it just because the vast majority of people defend it. I think
that's fair. That's fair.
And I just hope that everybody kind of sees us like that. It's kind of, I hope we do a good job of that.
I definitely think so. I mean, look at the community, and I'm looking at you, LeRon. What I admire a lot about what you say throughout your various appearances and podcasts is like, I don't want to like further talk about either this person or this company or whatever, because you just don't want to give attention to those particular type of people. And just to go back and answer that question that you had earlier, like the way that I see combating really unhealthy tribalism is, I'm not just going to pay attention to that person or that group because I bet you they're actually a minority. They're just very loud.
Yeah, that is true. I have a funny feeling. That like certain people or certain entities that like do what they do. It's just basically there for a disruption. Now that also in that same vein, some people are just really just trying to poke fun and have a good time and stuff like that. and actually get an actual decent conversation going. But there are other people that like really just want to disrupt, shake things up, not add anything constructive to the actual overall discourse or conversation and things like that. So yeah, like it's always a fine line that everybody straddles. Some people understand what they're doing, some people have no idea what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing I've tried to say in my time, the one thing I tried to like enact or do in my time, that I've been with Boss Rush Network. Thank you very much, Corey, for inviting me. Like you and Ed, you guys like welcomed me into the family when I was just like some Joe Schmo who barely had like 15 hours of streaming time under my belt and stuff like that. But the one thing I've tried to if you look at the Boss Rush Network, like people pay attention to what we say, what we do, what advice we give for video games, and sometimes even what advice we give for just the way of life and stuff like that. We're influencers, whether nobody wants to pick up the term or not. So like sometimes like the weight of what we do and what we say has implications on how people will look and react to us, and the general public and stuff like that.
And they have, right? Like I know when Stoy wrote that controversial piece on the video games aren't art thing, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a controversial headline, but if you read the article, which was a combative piece to something I think David wrote the week prior, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was just like a, let's do this and then let's do this type thing. Like that was super controversial, and people were coming at me about that, and I'm like, relax, guys. It's just a fun article, and it's like,
but
and I get that. I know people talk about some of the things we say, right? Like I don't care. I'm not here to be IGN or Game Informer or Kind of Funny or whatever, whoever else you listen to, right? Like I'm not here to do that. If I wanted to do that, like I would have worked harder when I was younger and went to go apply for one of those jobs, right? Like that's not who I want to be as a content creator anymore, right? Like at one point in my life I did, right? Like I think we all did at one point. Like I used to read IGN and be like, man, I wish I could write for them or do a show for them or something. Yeah. But as I got older and realized like the way that the game industry was going and the way that I wanted to do stuff or create stuff or podcast or do whatever is like, that route's just not for me anymore. And that's okay, right? Like there's room for people with different opinions in this space. Mm-hmm. And speaking of tribalism, I feel like that kind of carries over into that space as well. It's just, I want people to feel comfortable being who they are and how they feel here. If you don't like how you feel, if you don't like how we feel, find a creator or find a company or find a system that aligns with your thoughts or your, like, relative to how you like to play games, right? Like, I feel like the tribalism is just, it went away for a while, I feel like. And now it's like coming back full force because I think Xbox is on the rise. And right before like PlayStation 5 came out, before they did that huge presentation, people were really questioning PlayStation. Like, are they making the right move by not saying anything? Are they doing the wrong thing by not doing backwards compatibility the way that Xbox is? And it turns out their revenue streams and the way they want to do business are just two different ways of doing business. And like Nintendo is a different way of doing business. Doesn't mean one's right and one's wrong. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's like Xbox has a great system of like, you can play all of our games. Maybe they're not all bangers, but like there's a lot of great 7s, there's a lot of great 8s in there. Sea of Thieves has had a great life, right? Like there's a lot of that, and you can get it with Game Pass. You don't even need to own our console to play it. PlayStation, we're going for the prestige AAA single player experience, right? This is what we're known for. This is what we're going to keep going at. You want to play our amazing game? Give us $70 and you can play our amazing game. That's fine, right? These are just different ways of conducting business, and I think any way is okay.
I absolutely feel more welcome with you guys than I have in previous people I've written for, companies I won't mention. But just for the writing team alone, having monthly meetings, organization, communication, just is God sent. It's awesome. When you write for a different company that just isn't there for you, it kind of it has a different tone to it, and you feel like you're trying to float in an ocean and no one's there to help you get in a lifeboat. So thank you guys for inviting me to this, and I love this, and I love you guys. So
yeah, man, of course.
We love you too, man.
Thank you.
That's the thing, right? Is like, when Ed and I and Jesse like started this, because like, long story short, we used to podcast with an old group. There's a separation, and we started this own thing, and from day zero, we were like, we need to make sure everybody feels welcome. We need to make sure everybody's allowed to have their own opinions, and we need to make sure that we build something that people feel like they can be themselves and be here and feel welcome, regardless of, orientation, race, religion, belief system, whatever. As long as you respect one another and understand who everybody is and how they feel and who they are, we're going to get along just fine. Have we hit speed bumps in this road? Of course we have. Like, no system is perfect, right? Like, right before LeRon joined, we had someone on our team that was like, we had to get rid of for harassment and trying to do things that were not savory, we'll say. It's just had to cut him loose. It happens, right? People have come and gone, and I would like everybody who's here to stay forever, but like, so there's an example. Okay, we had someone on a podcast that had never podcasted before. Probably, I don't know. I'm not gonna use this person's name or whatever, but like, never podcasted before or whatever. Okay, so what? Come on, just talk to us like friends, whatever. We're gonna be there. Did we get flack for that episode because we had somebody on who like didn't really know what podcasting entailed or whatever? Sure we did. Whatever. It's not what we're here for, right? We're here to make people feel comfortable, and if they want to try something, I'm really terrible at saying no. So like, if somebody wants to try something, I'm just going to say, yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. And is it overwhelming sometimes? Sure it is. Do I want to pull my hair out sometimes? Sure I do. But like, as long as the people here feel safe and feel happy and feel like they can contribute in a meaningful way, in a positive way, we've done our job. That's what we're here for. So I don't have anything else to say.
How else will people get better if you don't give them a shot? Especially talking about first-time podcasting or first-time writing.
Right. Mm-hmm. How many first-time writers do we have on staff, right? But like, look how many people are getting better at writing, And sure, okay, people need help editing their stuff or putting their words in a order that kind of makes sense and is more appealing. Sure, but like, that's every writer, Every writer goes through that. Stephanie, I know you've probably gone through that writing novels, right? Like, I'm sure you've had hundreds of edits and it's just, you got to start somewhere,
Yep. Well said.
That was kind of a tangent off the tribalism talk.
It happens. It happens. Next week I'll have a much more I'll have a bubbly topic next time. Like, it's one of those things, and I've actually thought about writing a feature on it because I haven't done a feature in a few months. So I thought about doing that, but I have another feature that I'm working on. It's basically a love letter to PS4 fans, letting them know that hey, it's time to let that sucker go, because Sony. My prediction is Sony will let that bastard go by November of next year.
I think God of War is going to be the last major title for that console.
I mean the writing's on the wall. Like, you're no longer going to be able to get dual entitlement. That fancy word that means like, hey, if I get this game on PS4, I'll have it on PS5 for free. Yeah, they're done with that, which means that they're planning to end all interest in PS4. So get ready, guys. Get ready, guys. You know, if I'm going to be the bad guy, you know, we're about to do our plugs in a few minutes. You know exactly how to find me in a few minutes.
Yeah. But just to kind of wrap up this show, I everybody that's involved in Boss Rush, like, I know I haven't talked to everybody like regularly on the writing staff or, you know, the entertainment side of stuff. Like, I know I haven't like talked to everybody, but like anybody who listens to this show, I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you and the work that goes into the site and the writing and the videos and the podcasts and, you know, the editing stuff and the live shows. Like, everybody has a role, and that these roles are coming together in a really cool way. And, you know, David and Dan and Stephanie doing the writing stuff and taking on that side, and Shane, you know, you do a great job writing and coming on this show and Pow Block, you know, frequently, and LeRon, you do a great job with Crossroads, and it's just everybody. I like 2 years ago, Ed and I were sitting here just talking dumb Nintendo stuff. Like, we made up a Metroid multiplayer game and thought it would be funny to talk about for 2 hours. Like, that's where we were at 2 years ago, and now look where we're at, right? Like, it's, I don't know. I just appreciate everyone and committing to this dumb little dream we all had at one point.
You guys have started a cartel. That's what y'all done.
Cartels make money, LeRon.
And Stephanie, don't worry, it's coming. Stephanie's going to be our Furiosa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess
everything's falling into place.
I guess we should have probably said that at the top of the show, but Stephanie is going to be our permanent third chair here, unless she can't make it for some reason. But she's going to be the permanent third host on the Boss Rush podcast. So, and then the fourth chair.
No, I did not drug Corey to make that decision.
You didn't what?
I didn't drug you and make you make that decision.
That's not true. I don't remember.
Oh, crap. But no, seriously, thank you. I don't want to be cheesy, but I will. But it's quite the honor. I was so nervous the first time I was on a podcast, and I can't recall which one I was on first. And, you know, it's nice to see people don't find me incredibly annoying. So that's great.
No, I mean,
well, your first appearance was what? Pow Block, right?
It must have been probably like because it was a Zelda theme or something, and I was like very excited but super nervous, and yeah.
Because I know we love you whenever you're on Crossroads.
It's
By the way, Shane, I'm going to extend the invitation for you to come to Crossroads anytime you want.
That'd be great. Once in a while I need to step out of Nintendo and go to a little PlayStation. So
oh yes, we'll welcome you with open arms.
Everybody's also invited to Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast. You should listen to that too. I know Crossroads and Pow Block are.
Zombies, so.
Hey,
well, I mean,
I've got my eye on that fourth chair once in a while. Once I start getting
awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, Stoy's my boy, so I'm
oh gosh, Stephanie and Stoy again on one show. God, Jesse and I are just gonna sit there and just like, well, we don't have a spot here anymore. This is.
Hey, LeRon, I was going to mention to you, my Bluetooth banter piece came out today. If you didn't read it, I was just thinking about you talking about the Bluetooth last week. Did you hear how animated I was on that episode of Power Block?
Oh God!
I had this in the works, and I'm like, I can't wait for LeRon to read my take on it. So
I swear, Ed facepalmed so many times during my take on that. Because I was like, come on, guys. The Nintendo is closer to 5 years old than it is to 4 years old. Come on, guys. I'm going to read your piece before I go to bed tonight.
Awesome.
Speaking of bed, it's time for bed. So I want to thank everybody for watching the Boss Rush podcast live here on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Network on Wednesday nights. Woo! If you can't make the live show, it's no big deal. You can listen to the show
it's fine.
On Monday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on your podcast service of choice and on YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen to the show. Shane, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Well, you can find me here at Boss Rush Network, writing many articles. Also, I write for Another Zelda podcast. And you can follow me on Twitter at Still Sane Shane.
Nice. Thanks for joining us tonight, Shane. I always enjoy.
Thanks for inviting me. It was wonderful
talking with you, because we don't really interact all that much, but when we do, it's a joy.
Love it.
Stephanie, where can we find you?
You can find me at Klimov, KLIMOV _author on Twitter. And as Corey mentioned, I also write and copy edit for bossrush.net. And, since we have Shane here, we're lucky to have him. Please check out his editorials and follow his Kickstarter journey. Yeah, I found it incredibly interesting. So check that out.
Thank you.
LeRon.
All right. So I'm starting to streamline this, but basically Exodus 803, EXODUS 803. You can find me on all social media at that. You can find me at Twitch and YouTube on that. You can find me on that's my gamer tag for practically every service I'm on. So yeah, just look that up. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, typically. Crossroads, a PlayStation podcast show with myself, Nelly, Austin, and our new member Chris. And then, of course, Wednesday nights, I'm here on Boss Rush.
You can find me at I am Corey in HD. That is Corey. I'm taking a page out of Stephanie's book. I've never spelled it once on the hundreds of episodes of podcasts I've been on. So, whoops.
People spell my name incorrectly all the time, so I just figured I'm just so used to it now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had to spell my last name too, because people like to add letters, take away letters.
Yep. Switch letters in different orders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can find me.
Show notes tonight. My last name's Kelley. I saw it, just Y.
Sorry, I messed it up.
I always get Sean as well. Sean Kelley.
Sean.
Okay.
Everyone calls me Sean.
You know what? I'm just gonna say right now, like I feel like people are disrespectful, or people are just being disrespectful to look at something and then mispronounce it. Like, I understand if you don't quite get it or you can't quite conjugate the word in your head and whatnot, but for the most part, like, come on, Shane, and they're getting Sean out of that. I really question how much respect you had.
They didn't try.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna start asking people, like, when they mispronounce my name after actually reading it out, I'm like, do you have dyslexia? This is not this hard.
You can find me on various other content here on the Boss Rush Network. You can find me on Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast. You can find me on Pow Block. You can find me doing all kinds of things. It's going to be a good time soon. LeRon. It's after dark. He's got plans. Standard def. We've got plans. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Night.
Have a good night.
Sleep tight.